Hi, I'm Laura Hanley, and I'm in my pottery studio where I make everything that I sell in my Muddy Paws Pottery Shop on Etsy. I'm a sole proprietor and I make everything beginning to end right here in this room. My studio was made for me by my sweetheart who I live with now, and he used reclaimed floor to ceiling windows. And the inspiration behind the name of the shop is that I can overlook this outdoor area where my Newfoundland dogs play, which you might get to meet them later if we can get them outside. So I like to play with mud, and dogs sometimes get muddy, hence the Muddy Paws name. So right now I'm going to show you how I make one of my very favorite pieces, my favorite piece of pottery. It's a newer listing on Etsy. It's my Earthy brown clay fruit bowl for the Minimalist, and I consider myself a minimalist. I like things very simple in life. I like very simple colors. I think they're easy on the eye. This is the smallest of the pieces in this listing, even though I make this piece in several sizes. It's great for anything, your grapes, your berries, cherry tomatoes before they're ripe. The larger ones are great for pitted fruit or avocados, which I love to make homemade guac. I'm expanding this line soon to include all kinds of different pieces. Kitchen sponge holders, toothpick holders, spoon rests, bakers. I'll show you later, it's on the floor. What I'm going to do is run you through the process from beginning to end of how these are made. So I've worked real hard on this piece, especially the precision when it comes to drilling the holes. So the first thing to do, I do is I take this hunk of clay, and I'm going to turn this hunk of clay. I'm going to show you how I turn it into this. So the first thing I'm going to do, this is about 3.5, 4 pounds of clay, is I'm going to center it on the wheel. And it's a lot of core muscle that goes into throwing pottery. Just being able to center it is a skill. It takes lots of practice, just like anything in life. The more you do it, the better you get. I taught pottery for about 18 years to help put my 4 children through college, and for the past 4 years I've just concentrated on production and selling. I've sold pottery for a long time, since I started, and back in 1993. So I centered the clay, I'm opening up the piece. Pull the wall, slow down the wheel a little bit so it doesn't collapse. Even out the lip. Get all the water out. Like I said, I love working with this brown clay. The results are just amazing. I sell most of my pieces with my white clay, so I'm going to really start pushing the brown clay because it's such a favorite. It's a little harder to work with. There's grog in the clay. It's a little rough on my hands. But when there's a will, there's a way, right? Sometimes my family just can't get me out of this room. Sometimes we have to do takeout because I'm in here a little too long. So I'm just going to finish this off and then take it off. And I already have a piece ready to go for the next step. Like I said, I make these in all different sizes. Making berry bowls is my absolute favorite thing to do. I have not gotten tired of drilling the holes and so forth. So what I'm going to do now is undercut this piece from the bat, which will prevent the piece from sticking to the bat later on. If I don't do that, as the clay begins to dry, it'll be stuck there forever. So I'm going to take this off, just put it down here. By tomorrow, that would be ready for me to trim, or I can cover it with plastic to delay to prolong the drying process. So what I'll do now is I will take this adapt bat off, take my bat mate off, take the screws out, and for trimming I'll work right on the wheel head. I'm going to dry this off a little bit. So that piece I just made, let's pretend 24 hours later and it's tomorrow and it's on the bat, and I'll undercut it again. It's firmer. It's in the stage called the leather hard stage. That means it's not completely dry, but also I can't really bend it either. It's more secure. It's still moist enough to trim, but not so dry it's gonna crack. So this one, I'm actually not going to trim this one. I just want to show you how I take it off the bat. And I will trim this one. So what I'll do is I'll line this up on the circles on the wheel head. And let's just make sure it's in the middle. Good, it's pretty good. So I'll secure it to the wheel head with these clay logs. So in terms of the process, I've already jumped ahead about 24 hours. That's one day. Okay, so now I will trim this, which is finishing off the bottom. When I made the piece, it's real pretty on the top, nice and smooth, but the bottom's still rough. So I have to use these trimming tools and finish off the bottom. Trimming's probably one of my favorite things to do because I can watch the Drew Barrymore show, I can watch the Olympics, I can watch anything I want, I can look up. It's pretty easy to trim. I'll get this little bit off the top. And these little pieces, they just fly everywhere. They look like chocolate curls, but they're really not good enough to eat. So my berry bowl, my fruit bowl that I make for the Minimalist does not have holes in the bottom. I do make some berry bowls, like you see right here, that have the plates on the bottom. And those are great. You can rinse your fruit, put it on the plate. They are very popular, but I think when you have them on your counter, they're a bit busier looking because of that plate. So because I'm the minimalist that I am, I love the piece I'm making now. Same functionality, but I think just a cleaner, simpler look. So I've trimmed this piece. Just add a little water. Oh, there's Tito, he's in the studio, hello. I really need to add to my Etsy messages to my customer that they might find a dog hair in their packaging box. But I think anybody who buys from me loves dogs because my studio is named after my dogs. So once I do that, what I'll do is I'll sign the bottom of the piece. And then I'm going to put a little guideline here for the first row of holes. Put on my glasses. And I have 3 drills. I started off with 1 drill. It was not wireless. And I have to change the drill bit 3 times within making this piece. And with all the holes that I drill, the changing of the drill bit chafes my hands a lot. So I decided just to get 3 drills so I don't have to do that. So I get the hole started. The precision is one of the most important things in the beginning, just to line everything up so it looks right. I'm not going to drill all of the holes yet because I actually have one already ready to show you. And it saves me a lot of time just to go to this second drill that has the next bit I need already on. So I just looked on Etsy and I saw I sold over 800 of these variables, not this specific one, but different listings of variables. And I realized that every time I drill, my goal is to just become more precise. And it really bums me out when something's a little bit off, which quickly fades. And I realize with all the holes, one itty bitty mistake is not really, nobody really sees it but me. So I go so on and so on, and I have a pattern for this particular variable. And I could just keep going, but I will show you that once all these holes are drilled, it comes out looking sort of like this. And all the little bits of clay are left in here, and I brush them all out. And then by tomorrow or so, now we're at 48 hours, this is bone dry or the green wear stage, and it's pretty much ready to be loaded in the kiln for what's called the bisque wear firing, the bisque firing. Before I do that, all these little bits that come up, I have to put this on a flat surface. Let's just use this over here. And I can't do it quite yet. This one is not bone dry, but if it was, I would take this Scotch-Brite pad and I would gently sand it over and over and over on the outside and then on the inside to get rid of all that little extra clay there that I don't want there. Then I will fire that in my kiln with a lot of other pottery to cone 04, which is about 1,950 degrees, and that will leave the clay still porous, meaning it can still absorb the glaze when I put the glaze on. Then the piece comes out of the kiln. The color changes a bit from this, and what I'll do is I'll put wax on the bottom to resist the glaze. And I'll also do a real fine layer of glaze, wax up here to resist the glaze. And my favorite color to glaze these in is my pale gray, light sepia. And this is one of the end results. This is one of the small ones. But I do sell this in 3 sizes on Etsy. And I just love the way it looks on a counter. It's very clean, very, very simple looking. I do so many things with this piece. So now what I'm going to do is try and have my sweetheart, photographer, and studio contractor get my muddy paws outside so you can see what I get to look at almost every day. Today is a very hot day and they do not like the heat. So in the winter, they're outside playing in the snow constantly. My logo for Muddy Paws Pottery Shop was designed from a Newfoundland we had for almost 16 years. That's how much we loved her. She stayed with us for almost 16 years, and now these 2 pups here are not siblings, but they are from the same breeder. The brown one is Tito. He is such a character. And the black one is Summer. She's lazy. She loves to come in my studio, especially if I'm having a little snack. Oh, there she goes again. Okay. Anyways, and that is Robbie. He is my sweetheart. He built my studio for me. Thank you, Robbie. And with that, Etsy, I will just say thank you so much for being an incredible platform to work with. I love selling on Etsy. I love all of my customers. And I don't think I would survive. I don't think I could have put my kids through college without you. And thank you for the opportunity for this design studio competition. And I wanted to say one more thing, but I have the camera on me. Hang on one sec. Can you just hold it for another minute? So what I want to say was I often get asked how long it takes me to make my pottery. And I'll just smile at my customers and I'll say 35 years and 5 minutes, because it just takes a while to get to this point. So thank you, Etsy, once again, and thank you for the opportunity. Over and out.